I am Francisco Lagarico.
So your first name is Francisco, Francisco, and last name is Lagarico, Lagarico.
Correct.
So what is your birthday, sir?
My birthplace is in Cagayan province.
Cagayan?
Cagayan.
Uh-huh. And what is your birthday?
My birthday,
Yep.
September 20, 1929.
29. So you are 90-year-old.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you look great, sir. And tell me about your family background when you were growing up. Your parents, your father, your mother, and brother and sister, when you were growing up. What do they do?
When they were still alive, my father, farmers, sometimes working in a sawmill, lumber. My mother is a housekeeper, and we depend our lives in farming before.
Uh-huh.
And there was a sawmill in our place where we will be employed during lumber months.
And how many brothers and sisters did you have at the time?
I have 4 brothers and 5 sisters.
Uh-huh. And tell me about the school you went through, your elementary, middle, and high school, please.
I studied in high school,
Yeah?
in Catholic school.
Catholic school.
Yes, and I was given pre-schooling.
Huh?
I studied in high school with pre-schooling. They give me opportunity.
And when did you graduate from high school?
I graduated in 1950.
1950.
Yes.
So that was the year that Korean War broke out, right? Did you know anything about Korea by the time? Did you know where Korea was in the map, or did you know anything about Korean history?
Yes, because when the Korean War broke out, I think that was June.
But before
Well,
Korean War broke out, did you know anything about Korea? Did you learn anything about Korea from the school?
we have sometimes used that Korea, once upon a time, is a part of Japan.
Huh.
But during the war,
Yeah.
they divided and went to China, I think, into Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, so it was I think that it parallel was the demarcation when South and North Korea.
So
Established.
also Philippines was occupied by the Japan, right?
Yes.
When was it?
1942, but the war broke out 1941. That was December.
41.
The World War II.
World War II, yes.
The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. You know that?
Yes. December 7, 1941.
Yeah. December 7, 1941,
Yeah.
it was attacked Pearl Harbor. In December 8, the beginning of Second World War.
Right.
Because Japan declared now war against the United States.
Yes.
And,
So, yeah, go ahead.
and in the Philippines, the first landing of a Japanese is in our province. That was Sapatay, December 10. They landed, and there was no encounter, no war, because the troops of the Philippines were already deployed in Lingayen Gulf, where most of the Japanese forces landed. So, they retreated to Bataan via San Fernando, Pampanga. The only way to go to Bataan that time is San Fernando. As it is, that was in strategy of the Americans maybe, that when a war in the Philippines broke out, all troops will go to Bataan.
So,
So, all troops, but many have not gone to Bataan because it was already closed, occupied by the Japanese. Many did not enter Bataan. The only way is San Fernando. That's why there are many guerrillas in the Philippines organized, like in this Southern Tagalog, Iloilo, where there was a contact radio station in Iloilo to the United States directly. So all information from that radio station is directly contact to the United States. In 1942, there were already many submarines helping the Philippines and the guerrilla units in the Philippines.
so Korea was also the colony of Japan for 35 years.
Yeah.
And Philippines also was suffered from this Japanese occupation.
Yeah, but-
so, yeah.
There were many Korean soldiers of the Japanese, but mostly of the Japanese were officers. So your countrymen that time, we do not know that they are Koreans. So that was 1942. The United States, General MacArthur left the Philippines and went to Australia. So the world, the immortal words of General Douglas MacArthur, I shall return.
Okay. So, when the Korean War broke out in 1950, what were you doing there at the time?
1940,
1950, what did you do?
1950, the war broke out in Korean War.
Korean War, but what were you doing at the time?
I just graduated in 1950, and I think that is June. The war, June 20?
Yeah?
The war broke out. So we are hearing the news that there was already a war in Korea.
Yes. And so what did you do? Did you join the military?
No, after my graduation in the high school, I joined the Philippine Army, 1950. Right. I joined the Airborne. Then, in 1954, I went to Korea.
53,
54.
54.
There was already ceasefire in Korea.
Oh.
We were stationed in Yangon Valley. There was no more war, but we are practicing, maneuvering, preparing, maybe for another war. But thanks God, the neutral boundary was established because the truce was already signed.
So when you landed in Korea for the first time, how did Korea look to you? How was Korean people?
Well-
How was Korean children? How do they live? Were they poor, or can you describe the details of the Korean society at the time you saw for the first time?
They were friendly. We were in camp in Busan. They call it now Busan, I think. We landed at Busan.
Yeah.
Then we were in Busan. Then we were kept in a camp, waiting for order to go to the north. And
How was Busan? How was Korean people look to you?
Oh, they were friendly. And I know this is the look of Korea that time. It is not just like now that you are rich, but children were they chop, they said. We give them some of our ration, and they are good. When we were in the north, there was no more war, but we have training maneuvers. But believe me, we are not accustomed with the weather. Even it is raining or it is snow, we are going to Rebeli 5 o'clock. But we were given good clothing that time.
So it must have been very cold for you, right? Because
Right.
you are from Philippines.
That's our enemy. We could not shoot that. And we were instructed to take a bath every day because that is hygiene and sanitation. That is not there. So sometimes when the engine of the shower is out of order,
Wow.
you are forced to take a bath with the cold water. And so, we have many experience in that country. We have known how a country occupied by another nation like the Philippines.
So in Yanggu, what was your main mission? What did you do every day?
Every day we lecture, we just prepare. There might be another book out, but thanks God, the blood between the south and the north was already established. And I believe this might be General Douglas MacArthur was planning for another war. But when President Truman went to this, they relieved General Douglas MacArthur because another war may be established again if the plan of General Douglas MacArthur, excuse me, this is the plan that I have this story, he would like to assault Kenya. This was the news. But President Truman did not like, so he was relieved as Paris commander.
Yeah.
And he did no longer went to service. That's why he said, old soldiers never die, they just fade away.
Right. So you know about the General MacArthur.
I know, I have gone to his grave in North Virginia because I studied in the United States. So I was able to go to the Museum of General Douglas MacArthur. There you can see all the tape they got in the war in Asia, but mostly in the Philippines.
Were there any Korean boys? Where did you sleep? Did you sleep in the bunker?
No, we have tent in Yangon.
Tent.
Tent, yeah.
And were there any Korean children, like a busboy?
Well, they could, were helping us washing out, so Korean boy, they could this tubang, I think. Tabang. I maybe try did not bring with the Korean boys who are very kind. They're washing our clothes. Because if you're not,
How old were they?
maybe 15 or 18.
15?
Well,
So teenagers.
teenagers.
And yeah, go ahead.
They were the one washing our clothes. We pay them.
You pay them.
You pay them. We give money because they were authorized to wash our clothes. So it is a great help to us.
But also they made the money so that they can feed their family.
Yeah, they can give them the money they give to the parents when they get also past the vacation. They are receiving much money before. How many dollars?
Did you like them?
Yes, they are very obedient and good friends.
Okay. And when was the most difficult for you to stay there? What was the most difficult thing to really bothers you most?
The most difficult thing and bothered is the temperature. The winter.
Huh?
Winter.
Winter.
Yeah, that is okay. We are not used to that. But we have 5 layers of clothing, like the pack.
I was in Yangbu. I went to Yangbu, so I know where you were.
Yeah.
And it's so very mountainous, right?
Yeah.
There are so many mountains. So it must be very hard to train there, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything?
Yeah. There is a river there where we used to clean our vehicle before. And the United States sometimes inviting these Americans service, American service, social service, just to go there to give morals to the troops.
What about when was the happiest moment during your service there?
Well, the happiest moment, I think, is I was happy that the Korean young and the old, we with them, they were very courteous and loving the Filipinos so much because they are friendly to the Filipinos.
And Philippine soldiers stayed until 1955, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So when did you leave Korea?
1955.
What month? Do you remember? How long did you stay there?
Only almost 1 year, from 1954 to 55.
Right. And have you been back to Korea after that?
No more, because they wasn't given a chance when somebody's doing them. But I have already a son who have gone there and tell me everything about Korea.
So what do they...
My son is engineer, but he has company there. He went to for contract. He told me now about Korea. That's so beautiful, he said me. And they are very helpful. They just take me going to the site for contacting those contractors that might come to the Philippines.
So your son is engineer. He's been to Korea?
No, my civil engineer went to Korea. He was my youngest, number 4. Only 4
So
old boys.
he is your youngest son.
Yes, junior.
Yeah, junior.
My number 1 is electrical. He's now in Qatar. My second, excuse me, was given the preschooling.
Huh?
Was given the preschooling scholarship given by your country.
He was there?
No, he was given schooling, scholarship.
Yeah.
School. Piptok gave that. He paid not a single cent until he graduated.
So he went to Korea?
He went to Korea to contractor, because he's already employed in a big company, engineer. So I'm proud that I have a son We did not spend single cent, but it's the Korean government.
So Korean government provided the
Yeah, this
scholarship.
scholarship, and I have even two granddaughters now, still giving a scholarship.
And where is he now?
My,
Yeah, son. The son that got the scholarship. Where is he now?
he is studying in PUP, and the other one is still in elementary. So, thank you, Korea, for giving me so much aid, for I cannot spend it that way because I have no much money. And I think that is the best souvenir and remembrance that I got in my service, in the service, for the scholarship of my son and my grandson's daughters.
That's very good. That Koreans give back to the people who fought for themselves.
Yeah, more than
that's-
that.
yeah.
More than that. Even today, I think one of the most helpful now supporting the Philippines is Korea. And every time, whenever we heard that they also love the Philippines because of what the Philippines, the third country that landed Allied forces in Korea, and the first in Asia.
When you left Korea, Korea was completely destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah, nothing left, right? Not much. But now you know that Korean economy is 11th largest economy in the world.
yeah.
Do you know that? What do you think about that transformation?
You are lucky because you are now rich country, but we are also lucky because the Korea helping the Philippines.
It's a natural thing because you came to fight for us so that we were able to rebuild our nation. And it's time for us to pay back to your service and your honorable service.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why we are doing this. But do you know that Philippines, in their history class, do they teach about the Korean War?
Sometimes they are teaching about what Korea did during the war, once under the Japanese, and many Koreans came to the Philippines as infantry. So we know Korea before.
Yeah.
And we are proud that I think the first Asian country that landed in Korea is the Philippines.
Next year is going to be 70th anniversary. You know, since Korean War broke out, never ended really peacefully, and we don't have a peace treaty to replace that armistice, the ceasefire. Do you have any message to the Korean people about it?
Thanks to Korea now that you are rich, you did not forget people who help you. Many nations help us, but they have objective. We were under the Spaniard for many years. Then America came again. The Japanese came. So you see the Philippines, foreigners are here. I do not know for conquer or for economic purposes. The Spanish for 400 years, I think. Then America came. Then your Japan came. I do not know if there is still another country to come and occupy again the Philippines. I hope God will no longer occupy, help us that No nation will dictate us now because it is hard also to be under another nation when its purpose is for the benefit of this country to occupy another country. It's not good.
Very good point, sir. I think that's really important point for us to know and be able to live together peacefully with others.
That is very good.
What was your rank at the time?
Sorry?
Rank. What was your rank?
Rank?
Yeah, rank.
I,
Corporal?
I retired in the army, so
Lieutenant.
that they give me lieutenant for the purpose of pay, but I was a master sergeant.
First sergeant.
Master sergeant.
And what was your specialty? You are just rifleman?
No, I did communication.
Communication?
Yeah. I communicate very hard to. In communication, even in war, the eyes and ears of the unit is communication. So I went even to duty in Korea for 2 days, 48 hours, because nobody will leave my post. And once you do not receive a message in the radio, it will endanger
Radio,
the,
yeah. Yep.
the line of a unit is communication. And I studied United States communication. I was in there.
Were there any dangerous moment that you could have been killed?
Sorry?
Were there any dangerous moment that you could have been killed?
No, there
No?
was not. When I was in airborne, yeah, it's dangerous. Because I jumped from the airplane, I take ranger course, so I have many training in the army.
And you retired as a lieutenant.
Yeah, master sergeant and second lieutenant for the purpose of pay.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your fight for the Korean nation, and that's why we are here, so that we are going to make this one into educational material, so that teachers can use when they talking about the Korean War in their history class. Thank you.
But thank you also for not forgetting the Philippines, especially today, that we are now so many.
We never forget all this. Look at all these roosters, you know, those people who are killed and participated. This is one of the most beautiful museum that I ever been, you know. So this is great to be here. And thank you again for Philippines' aid of Korea in 1950 to 55. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.